Welcome back to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzek, and to my left, I got the man, the myth, the legend, College Cottrell.
Gene, how are we feeling, man? You know, I know you're excited. You know, Eagles got a good win. I know we'll talk about them a little bit later, but NFL season's underway, and you know, we had a lot of good football, so I know it was a good week for you.
Well, I'm fired up. Listen, I'll make it very clear. I don't need to hide behind some weird stuff that happened in the first game of the season. Listen, Jalen Carter, absolute mistake. Should not have happened. I'm not gonna indulge in that. I've talked about it a million times. We'll go over it obviously a little bit on the show tonight. It's over with, right? The Eagles got to win. 1-0 is better than 0-1. And if you're 1-0 and your best player took no damage in the game, I guess that's a win, right?
Yeah,
like, you didn't get hurt.
I mean, that's it. That is definitely one way to look at that there. So I mean, I hear you. I mean, I'd be good with that too. The league ultimately came out, so they won't suspend him. So just because he didn't play any snaps in that particular game there. So I mean, hey, I hear you for sure.
See, that's the thing though, right? He did get suspended the entire opening game of the season. And I think the officials were right. I also have seen you in the comments multiple times, like the brother or whatever. I want to hear your thoughts on it because I keep hearing your secondary thoughts in the comments. But like before, Shally will hopefully be on shortly. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Like what Yes,
I mean, at the end of the day, Dak definitely baited him. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think he got between his linemen. He spit that direction, and he was hoping to get some sort of reaction. Now, do I think he thought in that moment that he was going to spit back directly on him? No, but I also think he was probably like, hey, that's Jalen Carter. He's going to come over here. He's going to push one of my linemen. Like, I'm behind two of my linemen here. Like, he's not going to touch me. So, if anything, he's going to come over here. He's going to push one of them. We're going to get a free 15 to start the game, and we'll just go from there. I 100% don't think Dak was trying to spit on him. Like, I don't think that was the case there. But I 100% believe that he was spitting in his direction to get a reaction from him. So, I think Jalen ultimately made a dumb decision, which, you know, we've seen him do year in and year out, essentially. Like, he's not the greatest decision maker at times there. Made a dumb decision, got called for it, and it is what it is there. So
I thought he was a great decision maker. I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding. The thing that I guess stands out to me is this, right? And Tim Todd says if they suspended Jalen, they have to do something to Dak. I don't know. Also curious if that lineman wound up and suck. Yeah, he's talking about the left hook that hurt around the world.
That's
what
nothing burger.
You're telling Terrence Steele's just allowed to throw a right hook in the middle of the game.
Tyler Guyton at tackle. Yeah, no, that's a literal nothing. It should have got called illegal hands to the face, but that's not that's football. That is football. It should have been a penalty. It should have been illegal hands to the face, but absolutely no suspension. No, there should have been no fine or anything for that. Should have been a flag, yes, but that's not. Come on, that there's nothing fine worthy or suspension worthy from that. No, that's football. That's being aggressive. That's trying to dominate the player from the opposite side of you.
So Tyler Guyton was fined, and he 100% deserved to be fined. That was a left hook. That's what that was. Let's stop that. Okay. Like, you're being too much. He got fined for it because it was an illegal play and he threw a left hook. We're going to say it's just football. He threw a left hook.
I said it. He should have got flagged. Should have got flagged for it.
Yes, correct. And he got fined. But I want to give people some context about the Jalen Carter situation on how it transpired. So many people ask me, well, what was Jalen Carter even doing over there? Cottrell, I don't know if you even know. Do you know what Jalen Carter was doing over there?
Well, weren't him and Dak talking?
It wasn't him and Dak. That's not what that was. So what happened was he went over to Tyler Booker the first round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys, who famously went into his press conference after being drafted by the Cowboys, and they said,
gonna stop.
They have Jalen Carter. Well, I'm the Jalen Carter stopper. And the funny part about that is Tyler Booker and Jalen Carter played against each other before. And in that game, Jalen Carter had not one, not two, but 3 sacks. So for you to go in after you got signed and say, I'm the Jalen Carter stopper and allowed 3 sacks, Jalen Carter was trolling him, saying stuff to him. Dak then responded, spit at him. And you're not going to convince me he didn't spit at him. I don't think he spit, tried to hit him, but spit on the ground, disrespect. Kind of like when you want to disrespect somebody. You spit on the ground at them, let them know you ain't scared of them. And Jalen Carter, like the dumbass he is, went and spit on him right in front of the referee, which was stupid. But the full story needs context.
I don't think that changes my opinion whatsoever of anything.
It shouldn't change your opinion.
But yeah, no, I'm with you though. I definitely think Dak spit. Yeah, he tried to spit close enough to get a reaction out of Jalen. Absolutely. I don't think he was trying to spit on him though. I think if spit would have got on Jalen, I do think Dak would have been like, I wasn't trying to go necessarily that far. But I definitely think he was trying to cause a reaction there and trying to spit as close to him as possible to trigger that reaction. Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's our take on it. I just, I'm done talking about it. I've talked about it now 4 times. I'm out of it. I'm done. Tapping out. He's not suspended. He gets to bully Patrick Mahomes one more time this week. And I can't wait for that. So Eagles fans, do not walk into this Kansas City game worried one bit. I don't care about I don't want to hear revenge game. I don't want to hear Kansas. It's in Kansas. It doesn't matter. We are going to bully them. Let's get into some hot wire.
All right. So we'll get back over to the NFL here, but just a little bit of news here beforehand. So first off here, I wanted to discuss new rule that'll be coming to the NBA this upcoming season, where half court heaves and beyond will no longer be counted as an individual shot attempt, but instead will be counted as a team shot attempt. So ultimately, this is to try and encourage more players to attempt the longer distance shots, like at the end of the half and things like that, and ultimately have it not affect their field goal percentages. Gene, what is your thoughts, kind of reactions to this? I know it was tested last year in the G League. They saw some success there with it, saw a lot of attempts go up in the G League. So just wanted to get your kind of thoughts, reactions to this ultimately being adopted in the NBA.
So first of all, it's funny. At first I thought about this. I'm like, this is so soft that the NBA players care about their shooting percentage so much. And my initial reaction to it was, this is soft. And then I thought about it. I took 30 minutes, 40 minutes to think about it. And I thought about all the incentive-based contracts that have a 3-point percentage or field goal percentage. I'm like, well, that's not fair, because if I'm taking a shot like I should at the end of the time, it's a heave. I don't think that should count against my percentage during my contract. So if I have to shoot 38% from 3 and that's a 3-point attempt, that's actually screwing my contract up.
Yep.
And there's players that will refuse to shoot the half quarter because they know they have incentive-based contracts. So as long as you have an incentive-based contract, this rule needs to be in place. And I don't I would love to pretend that this would be something that my first reaction was it's soft. But when my logic kicked in, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and by the way, Tim Todd nailing it to say. Everyone loves a half court, full court shot. We did it as kids. I agree. So I love that. Love that.
Same here. I think that when you look at the NBA, and I just think about this past year's playoffs, like Peyton Pritchard made that like a staple for him. And Peyton was one of those guys where I'm not going to say he didn't necessarily have to worry about his percentages because of incentives and things like that, but he was one of those guys where he was actually good at it. And so he would attempt them all the time there. And he was hitting a lot of them, and it brought a lot of excitement to some of those games, especially in that moment there. I think it's ultimately a great thing there. I think you're going to see more stars take those shots. I think you're going to see the Stephs, the LeBrons, the Kevin Durant's, like all of those guys start to take those shots where, if we're being honest, I think the only superstar who really was, consistently attempting those was Joker at the end of the half. So I think this is ultimately going to be a good thing there, because if you start to see more of those go in, not only can it potentially change the momentum and things like that of a game, but it just adds a little bit of excitement there for, just these general regular season games specifically. But of course, playoff times, things like that, like how many games do we see that are ultimately decided by 1, 2, 3 points? And, this could potentially change the course of some of those games. So I like it. I do think it's going to be exciting. And, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the stars ultimately take more of these shots at the end of the half there.
It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. I think it's the right thing to do. If you're going to take away a player's incentives based off of a half-court shot, you have to take that out of the game. So is it just like – so how do they determine what's a heave? Did they break that down? Like, does it have to be past half-court?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. There's a foot marker there. They didn't specifically determine it yet for the NBA, but whether it be like a 50-footer or whatever the case may be, there's a specific at the G League level. There was a specific range that it had to be in, and as you can see kind of through the graphic there, everything beyond half court, and it was slightly above half court there as well. Ultimately counted as a heave. So if you get up, you shoot a 40-footer, chances are that's probably not going to be considered a heave there. That's just a really deep shot attempt. But if you stay behind that half court or center court line there, then you should be good to go with not having that counted as an attempt.
Love it. What's next?
All right, so next up we have the a fight that a lot of people are dubbing fight of the century. You have Canelo Alvarez in a matchup against Bud Crawford this upcoming weekend. This can be seen on Netflix. Gene, I'm very,
by the way.
Me too. Absolutely love it, especially now that Netflix kind of has their feet wet as far as hosting some of these live events. Like they had the Tyson event already. They've had some WWE events. So it's not like this is, new territory for them. So I do think this will be a absolute monster fight here. So a lot of eyes on it. So the stream should hopefully, fingers crossed, be good there. But what are your thoughts here on this fight? I know we don't talk about boxing a lot on the show, but this is just one of those fights where we have to talk about.
But everybody knows Terrence Crawford. Everybody knows Bud Crawford. Everybody knows Canelo Alvarez. So I don't really care if we don't talk about boxing much. This is more than boxing. This is, I understand it is boxing, but this is two juggernauts. This might be fight of the century. So I can't wait to watch. You know what I found very interesting? That Canelo was favored in the fight. I found that interesting. If you asked me who was going to be favored in that fight, I thought it would 100% be Terrence Crawford. Does Vegas know something I don't? Because Bud Crawford has looked incredible in every one of his fights and it's just dominated. I just don't. Why? Is it because of the weight class?
I would imagine so. I mean, Canelo is obviously the legend at this class here. And Bud is going up
160, I think. I think he's got to go up 6 pounds.
So I mean, I look at it like this though. If hypothetically, and obviously I know this isn't the same, but like if it was Bud versus Triple G, like would you? I'm sure we'd be saying like Bud is the favorite, right?
Yeah.
And I saw the Triple G in the Canelo fight, And it's like, all right, well, if that fight is as close as it was there, and you got Bud coming in, and Bud has been absolutely dominant. Like we saw what he did to Haney the last time. Like he was in like a big time fight against a big time fighter there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't have Bud as the favorite here. So I think this is gonna be a really good fight though. Like I really am looking forward to it. There's only maybe eight to 10 boxers that I'm like, all right, if they're fighting, I absolutely have to watch it. Bud is 100% one of those guys. Canelo is as well. So yeah, I think this is going to be the fight that Floyd and Manny was ultimately supposed to be. If you were a true boxing fan back then, like you knew, like it was fun because of the names, but you knew like they fought like 6 years past when they were really supposed to fight. Like this fight, I feel like will actually fit the billing of potential fight of the century.
I think it will be. And I think that if we're being completely transparent, I think that Bud Crawford wins this fight too. I don't think Canelo, I think Canelo is going to be a little bit more powerful, but I think Terrence Crawford is the much better boxer. And if you're the much better boxer, I just haven't seen a weakness in Terrence Crawford's game. I haven't seen him in trouble. Maybe I'm not that big of a boxing fan. Have you ever seen him in trouble?
Not truly in trouble, no. And again, maybe in some older fights that I'm not necessarily aware of, but I mean, Bud in his last 5, 6, like that, just off the top of the head, no, it's just been absolute domination. And
yeah, clean decision, unanimous decision in his last fight. Dominated Earl Spence, like knocked out his previous 7 contests. I just don't. Actually, I'm sorry, previous 10. He had like 12 straight knockouts going into his last fight, which was a unanimous decision. I don't see him slowing down. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't.
It makes me want to go back into gambling and just put like what am I missing?
But the one, I guess, to your point though, the one thing with it though, this is boxing. Like we don't want this fight to go to the scorecards. Like it's one of those things where you might see like, oh yeah, Bud won this fight. Like he won this fight by an additional 4 rounds there, and we go, and it's a split decision win for Canelo, or vice versa. Like whoever is, depending on where the money falls there. So we've seen some crazy decisions in boxing. So that might be part of it there as well.
Yeah, I look at it this way. I fully understand what Canelo is capable of. I just don't see it. He's way more active of a boxer, Canelo is, but I just don't see it. I don't understand what the method of victory is. I guess it's points. I don't see him knocking Bud out, but we'll see. I guess we'll see. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the fun way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think if ultimately if Canelo was to win this fight, it would be through points there. But I don't see it. I don't see it either.
We got the Shally segment. It's a segment now on the show.
It's a segment.
Comes in for late, leaves early. What's up, Shal?
I'll be here till the end tonight, gentlemen.
So I'm glad to see you're healthy this week.
Better, definitely better. But not completely healthy, but not coughing up a lung and having snot bubbles come out of my nose and stuff. So we're on the mend.
We're talking about Bud and Canelo. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the fight. We both are surprised that Terrence Crawford is not the favorite in this fight. I just don't understand. And I've never seen him penetrate it. Like I've never seen – that sounded terrible. Pause. But like I've never seen like him like beat. Like I've never seen him in trouble.
I mean, listen, I don't disagree with any of that. I too have not seen him penetrate it.
Oh, we didn't have to go there twice, right? After I did the pause,
double pause.
Could have left that one alone from there.
Listen, I mean, if there is, I mean, Bud is a technical master, tactician. I don't know if there's anybody on the planet who is a better boxer than Bud. I think his technique, have it be, orthodox or southpaw, the fact that he could fight both ways, fluently. He's I think he actually might be. It's funny because I had this conversation with other people the other day, and his name actually came up. He might be the most underappreciated great athlete of our generation. I think a lot of people love Canelo. I think Canelo also is an amazing boxer. I think the size and the weight, I think, has a little bit to do with this. What are the current odds on this?
All right, so Canelo is minus 175. Bud is plus 140.
So you're talking like 52-48, but
yeah, but I would have thought it would be Bud minus 240. Like if you were like, hey, listen, I want you to try to, you know how we do that sometimes, where we'll like try to guess what the odds are. I would have guessed Crawford minus 240, Canelo plus 180. That's how I see this fight. I think the line is completely wrong.
I would definitely feel more comfortable betting money on Bud, but at the same time, I mean, I could see why people think Canelo can win the fight, and again, I think it's his size and a little bit maybe of his power. I don't know how many times he's going to hit Bud flush. I think Bud's going to win the fight. I think Bud wins by decision. I think it's probably a close fight through 6 or 7 rounds, and I think Bud goes on probably a run of 2 or 3 rounds in a row where you get the master class, and then he kind of just does what he needs to the last 2 to get out of there. But I'm excited for the fight. I'm actually surprised this fight is not getting the hype that it should. Because after this, I can't think of the next closest fight that's worth a shit that actually has 2 good boxers in it. I mean, these are both generational guys, So I mean, after this, I don't know what's really left out there that really would intrigue me or really, kind of move the meter per se. And this, I've been waiting for this for a while, so I'm a big Bud guy, so I hope he wins. Because I think it'll give him a little bit more notoriety, and I think people will pay more attention to him, and deservedly so.
Well, I will say the one thing though that to your point there about what we could be looking forward to next here. If Tank wasn't going off and fighting Jake Paul, then, and I know, obviously it's a weight difference with Tank and Bud, but I mean, they could have potentially, had a fight there in the future there. But I feel like Tank is just going after the money here, and depending on how well Bud looks in this fight there, I think this is something that would be completely off the table there. But I do think that would have been something where I'm like, all right, let's see if we can make another super fight with some of the best guys in the sport. But
yeah, I mean, and I think he has a good point. I mean, I think that this is the heaviest. To my understanding, this is the heaviest Bud's fought at by far. So,
6 pounds. It's 6 pounds is.
I get it, but I mean, he's also been moving. I mean, when Bud started, I think he was probably around 130, 135 down there, and then he found his niche in that 140, 146 pound range. Like, it's it's still. There's reason there's different weight classes every 3 or 4 pounds. So I'm not saying it's going to, but I mean, again, it affects people different ways.
All righty, let's move.
All right,
I'm ready for overreactions. I've been ready for overreactions since before the goddamn show started.
We are going to the NFL, and we are going to overreactions here. I got 6 total.
Okay.
So the first one is, it's kind of a 2-parter, but I wanted to put them together here. The first one is Daniel Jones is the Colts franchise quarterback and will lead the Colts to the playoffs.
Massive overreaction. They played a Miami Dolphins team that has quit on their coach. Did Daniel Jones look better than he's ever looked in New York? Yes. Is Shane Steichen a good offensive coordinator type coach? Yes. But can we stop for a minute and remember that Daniel Jones has 5 years of tape and a defensive coordinator that's any worth of shit. Oh, by the way, he plays one this week. He plays Denver this week. I guarantee you that talk simmers down after week 2. That's a massive overreaction.
I mean, listen, putting the word franchise next to Daniel Jones is a stretch by every imagination, stretch of the imagination. Do I think Daniel Jones could possibly lead the Colts to the playoffs? Maybe. Is he a franchise quarterback? That there's a wide gap there, and a lot left to be desired and shown and proven before I think we go anywhere near those terms with Daniel Jones. I think Gene hit a lot of it right on the head. I think I actually saw one of Daniel Jones's interviews today, just randomly because I was on lunch, and he said how much he learned in the short time that he was in Minnesota about preparation and such from Kevin O'Connell, and how he didn't have that in New York. Didn't blame anything or anything like that. Just said, part of being a professional quarterback is learning and doing different things, and how much he learned from there. And again, to Gene's point, Shane Steichen is another one of those quarterback, I don't call them whisperers, but quarterback-friendly coach who understands the position. So I think he went to a good spot. I think he went to a good spot where he could win a job from Anthony Richardson, who's been a nightmare. And I think he'll look better. I mean, I don't think he could look worse. I mean, I don't know if New York wasn't the bottom for Daniel Jones, I don't know what is. So yeah, I mean, do I think he's going to play better this year? I do because of what Gene said. I think he has a good coach, and I think maybe he's grown up and learned to be a little bit more of a professional. I don't think Daniel Jones is a franchise quarterback, though. I think Daniel Jones is probably a nice Band-Aid for a team that has some talent and they'll win some games this year, and maybe they win a wild card spot. I think that is – I think if they got that out of him this year in Indy, I think they would be ecstatic. But he is not the long-term fix there, in my opinion.
The problem is this, and I actually think that would be terrible.
I was going to say, to that point, if that happens and the Colts make the playoffs, you don't think that Daniel Jones would then get the Sam Darnold contract, that 2-3 year deal where you just ride with him?
No, because I think I think the league is good at looking at other teams' mistakes and learning from them. And do they think maybe they give him a 2-year deal? Yeah, I don't know if they give him $40 million. They also have to solve the Anthony Richardson thing. Like if they are going to say, hey, you know what, Daniel Jones is now our bridge guy, then you got to get rid of Richardson, see what you get back for him, and then you got to position yourself either through free agency, which I believe the Colts have a lot of money, or obviously you're going to look to draft your next guy. So there's a lot of decisions that have to be made there. I always say this. Listen, if you're going to tell me your football team can make the playoffs, I'm not going to say, you know what, don't do that because we need a top 10 pick to get a quarterback that is still, to some degree, a roll of the dice in its own right.
No, so, you're right, Shao. The point I'm making is I actually think that if the Colts make the playoffs and they sign Daniel Jones to an extension, because they're going to have to, he's a 1-year contract. You cannot re-sign him for $14 million next year. It's not going to work. You can't franchise him. That's $50 million at this point. So you have to re-sign him if they make the playoffs. And he's going to get a 3-year 105. Watch. I can see the writing on the wall if they make the playoffs.
Okay, but I don't disagree with you. But let's say this. Let's say he throws for 3,800 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Do you let him walk?
Career year.
What?
That's a career year for him. Me personally, yes.
I agree. I think it's probably the moon. But let's say if he's anywhere even close to that, do you let him walk?
I mean, I would.
You're not going to, but I would.
Yeah.
But I'm saying. So my point is, if he really is a little bit better, and Steichen does make him like this past week wasn't a flash. I agree. It's Miami. I get it. But I'm saying if they go win 10 or 11 games and he does show that there's at least another level, Are you that unhappy with it at that point anyway?
Do you give Sam? I mean, the question is, do you give Sam Darnold $100 million? Like Minnesota had the luxury of having JJ behind him, but
because Anthony Richardson is a train wreck.
I think calling him Sam Darnold's disrespectful. I think Sam Darnold did it for a whole 17 games.
Oh, I know.
I said if.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying
a big if.
Yeah.
But let's move on here, though. Perfect little segue here. We brought up Sam Darnold there, and the quarterback that ultimately replaced him is J.J. McCarthy. And we saw the matchup of Caleb Williams versus J.J. McCarthy. Both those guys are from that 2024 class there. And my question is, overreaction here. Caleb Williams is the worst starting quarterback from the 2024 first rounders class.
I mean, that's a bit much.
Do you want to remind you of the quarterbacks?
So you have Caleb.
You have JJ.
You have Jaden Daniels. You have Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and JJ McCarthy.
All right, he's not the worst. Here's the problem with Caleb. Caleb carries obviously the weight of the number one pick. He carries what some people tug him with, that generational tag, generational talent type thing. And I think in some of the other people, some of the other quarterbacks, I think Bo overachieved his first year. Now, we talked about that last week with Gene, bringing up the good point of who they played. We'll see where Bo levels out this year. But I think Bo was just better off the bat than a lot of people thought he was going to be. JJ didn't play last year. Drake May, I think you saw enough with a really bad team to at least see the promise of what he possibly could be. Penix beat out Cousins for the job. So I think a lot of people are asking that question because I feel like a lot of people below Caleb, you could argue, have been more, I guess, successful compared to what their expectations were. Caleb's in that tough spot where he carries that enormous tag of being the number one guy. And then also, again, some people put that generational Patrick Mahomes, blah, 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 et cetera tag on him. And it's a lot. Do I think he's the worst? No, I think that's crazy.
Who's the worst?
Do I think Caleb needs to, what?
Who's the worst then? If you're going to say he's not the worst, I need to tell me who's the worst.
The question was, is he the worst? And I answered the question. I don't think he's the worst.
I love you being messy, Gene. I see the comments. Listen. I see the at in the comments. That's why I said that.
Oh, 100%. I will pause here. We'll remain silent.
Right. Because I know mine. Mine is easy.
I tagged mine.
I mean, and we're on the same page.
Honestly, don't know.
This is on the fence. This is on the fence, Shally.
This guy.
I'm not on the fence. I'm just trying. I mean, JJ's played 60 minutes of football.
Okay, so JJ.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see what Penix is. Again, I think you can't say Bo just based off last year.
Okay.
And what does anybody really have a definitive answer what Drake May is?
Death being pointed at Earth. They said we need an answer from you, Bill.
Yeah, I know. We have to eliminate.
All right, fine. Then I'll go Penix.
So you're eliminating Penix.
Okay.
To me, first of all, I think Caleb's better than Penix. I think Caleb's better than JJ, and I think Caleb's clearly better than Bo Nix. But the sixth one on that list, the 6 out of 6 on those quarterbacks is Drake May. And I'm sorry, I keep hearing they have a franchise guy and how good he is. And I keep watching and I don't see it. They had a home game versus the Raiders week 1. They had the opportunity to start the season 1-0, and they laid an egg. They brought him in Stephon Diggs. They laid an egg. And I tag Kyle because I don't like doing messy things without putting I want to put it out there, right? I don't want to hide it. I listen, he was 30 of 46. He threw the ball 46 times. He didn't hit 300 yards. He got sacked 4 times. His QBR was 39 versus the vaunted Raiders defense. What? Stop. What are we seeing that people are like, Drake May is great? I don't think so. I think he sucks. I'm sorry. I think he stinks. I would love to be proven wrong because I think he looks the part and football is better when New England is good. I think it stinks. I think he stinks. And I'm just giving you my opinion.
Use the first part, like the first 3 sentences of your answer. While I don't disagree with any of it, but you could have said all those things about Caleb Williams.
You're right. But I watched.
You had a chance. Okay, bro. I mean, again, okay. If you watch that game,
Caleb didn't make.
He didn't play great by any means. Here's my thing with Caleb is always. At what point does he need to start playing better?
I mean, I don't think that's a thing though. But as a whole though, would you say Caleb's the reason they lost the football game? We'll get into that. I'm not because I'm sure we're going to talk about the game. But I was curious there. I don't want to get off track. I don't want to stick too long here on overreactions because I know we got a ton to go after.
I have 2.
Okay. I also had Drake May as my 6th there as well. All right.
If I was ranking them, it goes 6-5. It goes May 6, Penix 5, Bo Nix 4, JJ 4, Bo Nix 3. I'm lying. I'm lying again. I have JJ 6. That's why I have 6.
There we go.
I have JJ 6. I just lied to you guys.
It's only a matter of time.
All right, we're gonna get back there. We're gonna get back there because I know we're gonna talk about NFL.
Okay.
All right, next one here. The Packers are the best team in the NFL.
Good job.
No, I mean that's
they're number 1 on the power rankings.
I don't care about power rankings. I don't care about what ESPN thinks all
the time. They went out and dominated the 15-2 Lions.
Yeah. Okay, so again, week 1 now it's Lions come out and play like the Lions this week and go to 1-1. Now it's the Lions just played a bad week game 1, but now the Packers added Micah Parsons and they're the best team in the league. I'm good with that. That's a horrible overreaction for me.
By the way, just to be clear, this is a fair comment, Kyle. And when I changed my mind, JJ 6, but we were judging May off the confusion of last year. And this game off of the first game with a completely new line. And Jory, this is a fair point. He's dealing with a new offense. I'm not writing the book on him. I just think that he's been severely overhyped. So, I'm trying to change the narrative of, what I've heard about. Oh, we know Drake May's good, so we got to leave. What? No, we don't. No, we don't. All right, so is it an overreaction to say the Packers are the best team in football? Absolutely. But I will say this. I want to see what both of these teams look like in week 2. What I mean by that is the one thing that was confusing to me, I don't understand how Green Bay's interior line had just absolutely horsed Detroit's interior line. I want to see if is Green Bay's interior of their defensive line really that good, or is Detroit's 3 new starters in the middle really that bad? And I won't know that for a couple weeks. But if Green Bay's interior of their defensive line, their rush defense is that good with Micah Parsons adding to the edge, they're right up there. It's an overreaction, but it's not far off.
I think a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in what they did in that game, deservedly so there, which kind of is going to lead into the next one here. But as a whole, though, I'm still not a believer in that Packers offense just yet. Will they make the playoffs? Yes. Are they a good football team? Yes. They don't have any receivers that truly scare me. I think they have 5 receiver 2s on the roster. And, I think once you get into the playoffs and they're going up against better corners and, you have Jordan Love having to fit it in tight windows. If if you watch that game, he should have had 2 interceptions like in the football game that the Lions just couldn't capitalize on.
A phantom call. He had a pick six that a weird call back. That was a really weird call.
That the Lions just absolutely could not capitalize on. Like, obviously, we're talking about this. The pick that ultimately got called back there. So it's like, if you're still getting that Jordan Love who is still making those kinds of mistakes, like, I don't know what that ceiling is for that Packers team. But the defense looked really, really good. I know the Lions had a new OC and things like that, but defense looked really good there, and I liked what I saw from them. But again, that leads me right into the next question here. The Lions won't make the playoffs. Is that an overreaction?
Nope, not an overreaction. I said this before the season started. I think they're an 8-win team. 8-9 wins is where they're at. I think you lost your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator. You lost tons of assistant coaches. You lost the interior of your offensive line, which was literally the reason that your team was so good at running the football. The answer is no, that's not an overreaction. Sorry, Lions fans. Detroit is going to be bad this year. Not bad. They're not going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, losing Ben Johnson is a big deal. I mean, we've seen it with other teams year after year. You lose your OC that's been there that, runs the offense and for a couple years and looks great. That guy steps away. It's going to take some time.
Yep.
And on top of that, I just don't think there's a bad football team in that division either. I still think the Bears will be better, even after what they showed, the other night. But that's going to be a tough division. Like, a lot of those teams are going to split during the course of the year. So I think there's definitely a possibility, to Gene's point, where they could have 8, 9, 10 wins and not make the playoffs. I think it's very feasible.
I agree. And I think the biggest thing here is, Gene, I was right there with you before the season started. I said the Lions would be 8-9 and not make the playoffs because I thought Ben Johnson was a big part of what they did offensively and defensively. Aaron Glenn was a big part. So, I mean, you still have a lot of the same players there, but we saw how Sirianni looked when he had to first replace, his OC in DC the year after you guys made it to the Super Bowl there. And I thought this would be very similar kind of growing pains, even with all the talent they had on the roster there. So, no, I'm with you guys. Don't think it's an overreaction. I don't have Lions make the playoffs either. Got 2 more here. I think these 2 should be quick. But first one is John Harbaugh should be fired after this football season.
I mean, first of all, let me not make it quick. He should be fired after this football season. He should be. Do you guys remember what happened in Tampa Bay with Tony Dungy? Can I remind you what happened in Tampa Bay with Tony Dungy? Granted, Harbaugh won a Super Bowl with the team prior, but Tony Dungy had this Buccaneers team that was always good, always had a great roster, and just couldn't win the big game. And then John Gruden went in there and put him over the top, won the Super Bowl. John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson as a tandem cannot win the big game. Cannot. Well, they have not proved that they can do it yet. And once again, it reared its ugly head again. CJ just put something in the comments. It says Buffalo might be the top team. Eagles are up there. I disagree with you, CJ. Buffalo is not better than Baltimore at any position on the football field. Now, what? Where are they better, Cottrell? What position group is Buffalo better than Baltimore? Anywhere. If you want to argue quarterback, that's fine. That's a coin toss. That back-to-back MVPs. Okay, let's just say that's a wash. Where are they better?
I was going to say, there's nowhere definitively that they're better.
Nowhere.
I think the only place that, of course, quarterback you can argue, and then your feelings on the defensive line, I think I could hear the argument. Won't necessarily go there, but I could hear the argument.
You say at head coach, and I don't. McDermott and John Harbaugh have been on the same playing field. They keep losing. Arguably quarterback. I said that. And Tom Gallo said quarterback. I would hear that argument. I have Lamar slightly ahead of Josh, but I could hear Josh ahead of Lamar. No issues there. But there's nowhere they're better. Linebackers, Ravens. Secondary, Ravens. Running back, Ravens. Receiving group, Ravens. Offensive line, Ravens. What are we talking about? You want to argue D-line? I don't agree. But they're not better anywhere. And if you have the best roster in football and you just can't get over the hump, your coach should be fired. I'm sorry. It's not an overreaction. Is it an overreaction, Callie?
It's for me, it always boils down to how things happen. Like, you're gonna blame John Harbaugh for Derrick Henry fumbling that football?
No.
Like when you're doing the right thing and it doesn't play out in the field the right way sometimes, that's it's just part of the game. Like, again, like, you hit into all world everything. Guy almost never fumbles, and he just runs in this little pile, and most of the ball squirts out. Like, shit like that. Like, if you just want to go, hey, you know what? It's a results business, and look at it in a black and white situation that way. Okay, you're right. Then you know what? You lost. You're the coach. It is what it is.
So, Bill, real quick here, because I want you to keep going, but I just want to be devil's advocate here for like 5 seconds, because I 100% agree with you. It's not his fault that Derrick Henry fumbled. But one piece that I do want to throw in there, though, when it's 4th and 3 and you decide to punt the ball back, instead of going for it with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the same backfield, and, Buffalo ultimately goes down and they score, like, what does that ultimately, like, does that go into your thinking here? While, the fumble shouldn't have happened. That's not Harbaugh's fault, but like decisions like that, they'll also play a part in the game. Does that change how you feel at all?
Listen, I mean, it all boils down to, at the end of the day, you are the head coach. You're responsible for everything. So, you could look at the defense. Like, they became Swiss cheese for the last 6 minutes of the game. Like, you had the fumble. You had the offense not be able to get a first down. Yeah. I think Baltimore's big thing is, I don't think Gene's wrong. I don't think the tandem of Lamar and Harbaugh have gotten over the proverbial hump and won the big one. And I think at some point Baltimore's got to look at it and be like, do we want to go with the stability of winning 13 games every year, getting into playoffs, and one of these years we'll break through? You're not going to get rid of Lamar. You just signed him. Or do we change coaching and bring somebody else in and say, you know what, we got to give somebody else a crack with this roster? That's the decision. So is it necessarily an overreaction if they do decide to fire him? No. I think the way they do things, I think unless this season goes off the rails for them, I don't think he'll be fired.
I don't disagree with you, but the devil's advocate I was going to play that you didn't play is it's always something that never happens. Derrick Henry never fumbles. Zay Flower fumbles the ball at the 1 yard line. Isaiah Likely's toe was on the line. Mark Andrews drops the 2-point conversion. He never drops the 2. Like, it's always something with Baltimore. It's like they find new ways that never happened before. Well, if it wasn't for Mark Andrews or Todd Monken or everybody, it's everybody. It's so everybody.
You're not wrong there, but my question, to that point, again, just being devil's advocate, because I'm like with you. At the same time, though,
it's a good point.
Do these things happen? Like, all these plays that we're talking about here, do these plays happen any differently with a different head coach?
So
I think that they go for it on 4th and 3 with almost every head coach in football.
So I'm not talking about that, because I'm there. We're here on that. I'm talking about the Andrews fumble, the Zay Flowers fumble, the Henry fumble.
Yeah,
I'm talking about those plays.
Let me give you a CJ. I apologize. I love you, but I'm going to use a CJ Brancato analogy to how I'm going to respond to this question. CJ, I love you. I'm sorry. CJ is one of the best talent evaluators I've ever seen in softball or baseball or whatever. CJ runs a great team. CJ is the type of guy that if you're in a game and it's way closer than it should be, or the team starts off slow, he has an anxiety about him that's felt throughout the entire team. And better teams will ultimately sometimes lose because of that. I don't know if John Harbaugh's that, but that team makes so many issues, like so many problems into their own stuff. Like Zay Flowers fumbling the one, Derrick Henry doing something uncharacteristically. It happens way too often. And I don't know who else can you blame. If it's a different person every single time, who else can you blame?
But I mean, at the same degree, like if you call the right play and Mark Andrews is wide open and he drops the ball, like Harbaugh can't go out there and throw him the ball or hand him the ball. Sure. Like Zay Flowers fumbling at the one, if he goes 12 more inches, it's a touchdown. Like Derrick Henry holds on to that ball, Baltimore wins the game. Like that, like at the end again, and we've seen it way too many times across way too many sports. At the end of the day, it's going to be the coach's ass, like, and because you can't fire all the players. But at some point, also, when do you look at just Mark Andrews and be like, "Wow, he lost us the game." Zay, you're a bonehead. You lost us the game. Like Derrick Henry fumbled for the first time in like 2 years. Like he's not going to throw his players under the bus, but at some point, too, to your point, it's not just Harbaugh and Lamar. Like how many of those guys have been there for a while now? Like it's a whole bunch of players. Like maybe it's Harbaugh and that whole group. Like at what point do you look at them and go, maybe we do have to make personnel changes other places?
17 double-digit blown second-half leads. 17 double-digit, the most by anyone since at least 1991. So. All right, what's the last one you got?
Last one I have here. Aaron Rodgers will be an MVP candidate this season.
I'm not giving time to this. That's an overreaction. I'm out.
I'm out.
Done.
I'm not doing it.
Four touchdowns in the opener? No, not giving it any credence.
Talk to me in week 6.
That's what the overreaction is for. That's why we're here.
I'm telling you, it's a massive overreaction.
I said overreaction. I'm out.
Okay.
All right, so let's go through some of the games, like a little bit of a recap before we get into trivia, and then we'll give our picks for NFL, and then we'll get into college football and MLB. We got a lot to get into, so let's go quick on some recaps, right? We ad nauseum, people have talked about the Eagles and Cowboys. Let's just skip through that. The Chargers, Chiefs, I've already done my victory lap multiple times. Let's kind of consist it to Sunday. What game surprised you guys the most on Sunday? And what game did you pinpoint dead right?
Which one surprised me?
I know which one surprised you the most, Catrell. This should be an easy one.
Which one is that?
The Dolphins versus Colts.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that one, absolutely. Definitely surprised me in the sense of I wasn't expecting the Dolphins to go out there and just completely lay an egg offensively. Now, I know they had a lot of troubles in their secondary. Obviously, you trade away Jalen Ramsey, and they had a ton of injuries there at corner throughout the preseason and training camp. But I thought offensively, you have Tua right now who is healthy. You have HN who played. You have Tyreek Hill. You have Waddle. Like, I thought that was going to be a bunch that put up points. And on the flip side of it, you had Daniel Jones at quarterback, and it was his first game as a coach. Like, I just did not think that was going to be the case there at all. And it showed me that this
did you hear Xavier Howard's comments on the game?
I did not know.
Xavier Howard said to the reporters, by the way, he plays for the Colts. Some people don't know that. He was a Miami Dolphin for a long time. He said, we knew if we took away Tua's first read that he was in trouble. He does terrible when he has to go to a second read. So all we focused on was taking away his first read. That is a former Miami Dolphin teammate that said that out loud to the media after the game. That enough said. Tua stinks. I'm on a stinks list tonight.
The funny thing is that I was there. I literally was there, and then he had the 1 year with McDaniel, and I was like, damn it, you know what? I was wrong. And now it's like, all right, like I wasn't wrong. I was just early. I wasn't wrong. I was just early.
What game were you dead right about? You can. I got a perfect one. I should answer these for you.
Dead right about for me was Bengals Browns.
Yes,
that one was the one that I mean, it went almost exactly how I thought it would. Didn't think the Bengals offense would have success. Thought the Browns defense would be, very successful in that one. And I thought
200 yards.
It was a performance from the Browns where I thought they were going to be in position to win the game. And if you have a kicker that can hit an extra point or chip shot field goal, then you 100% win that football game. They held the Bengals to 7 yards in the second half. The only time a team has been held to less than 10 yards in the second half and won ever, the Cincinnati Bengals in that football game. Like, it's absolutely insane that was the case there. But
your defense looked incredible Sunday.
Went exactly how I thought it would. I just didn't think kicker would be the reason why, you walk away without a win in a game where you hold Joe Burrow to under 200 yards, you hold Jamar to 2 catches, and the defense only gives up 17 points. Like,
I gained it by 200 yards. Charlie, what is the game that you were dead wrong about, or not dead wrong about, just you didn't expect? What was the game you were dead right about?
The Detroit game, I think the Detroit game, and then obviously the Indy-Miami game. I think everybody, for the most part, I think, even if you were an avid Colts fan, I don't think you thought you were winning that game 33-8. And Detroit, I still, I probably should have known better, going through like what the Eagles have gone through with OCs and stuff. I didn't think they were going to have that big of a drop off against Green Bay. Those two definitely stick out to me. Obviously, I was with you guys with the Chargers. I'm trying to think. I picked Buffalo to win. I didn't think that's the way they were going to win, but I think for the first 3.5 quarters, Baltimore looked incredible. But those were the two that stick out to me. Detroit just looking almost uninterested and lifeless for a lot of it. And like I said, in Miami, just being.
What were you dead on about?
What?
What were you dead on about?
Obviously the Chargers game. Like I said, I picked Buffalo. I just didn't think that was the way they were going to win.
Miami Mike isn't going to make it past week 6, CJ. Book that. They play like that 1 or 2 more times. That team looks like they're in trouble. So I was right about so many things. It's tough for me to pick one. By the way, didn't Justin Fields look incredible?
He did.
Until he threw that hospital ball to Garrett Wilson. Which, by the way, that's the only complaint I have on Justin Fields. If the game's on the line and Justin Fields has the ball, you're going to lose the game. I hate saying that. He looked great for the entire game, and I could see his thought process. Like, you have the first down, just run 3 yards. It's right there. It's right there. I felt like it was like Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl. Just run it right in. It's right there. And then he throws the hospital ball to Garrett Wilson, and Jalen Ramsey, give him all the credit in the world. He looked that hit was smooth. But Justin Fields was incredible in that football game. Here's the game I was dead right on. I told you that the 49ers defense was going to look 1,000,000 times better with Robert Saleh. Dead right. I told you that Seattle, I knew that was going to happen, 100%. Here's where I'll say I was wrong. It's fine. I can admit I'm wrong. I have no problem doing that. I did not think that the Buffalo Bills could keep up with the Baltimore Ravens. I did not think that. I got lucky by a hook. But I did not think the Buffalo Bills could keep up with that Baltimore Ravens team. When I analyzed that football game, in my mind, I said to myself, Baltimore is better everywhere. They can't lose this football game. So, wrong about Buffalo, dead right about the 49ers and Justin Fields. It's trivia time, baby. It is trivia time. And by the way, just sidebar, while you're getting ready to load trivia up, I think we're giving too much credit to J.J. McCarthy for Monday Night Football. Granted, he looked great in the fourth quarter. What no one wants to talk about is Brian Flores' defense absolutely shut the Bears down after that first drive. And Chicago was missing their number 1 corner, their number 3 corner, and their number 4 corner got hurt during the game. And their starting middle linebacker and TJ Edwards. All of them were out. So it was a collapse by Chicago. Let me see more from JJ. I've always been a JJ hater, and I'm fine with that. I'm on the JJ hater train. I'm ready. I'm fired up, Control. What you got trivia for me this week?
All right, gents. Well, of course, in the spirit of it being NFL, I have to go to the gridiron here. And I love the questions here tailored to Philadelphia when I have it as you two going up against each other here. So, in the Super Bowl era, okay. I did this just for you guys. In the Super Bowl era.
Thank you, because I don't want to talk about Chuck Bednarik again.
Norm Van Brocklin.
The top 10 point scorers in Philadelphia Eagles history.
Okay. What do you mean when you say point scorers?
Like individualized players that have scored the most points.
As in like throwing a touchdown.
Correct. The throwing touchdowns are not counted here.
And you're talking about in like any game?
No, just like at career as an Eagle.
Okay. All right, got it. So, but any game, not playoffs.
Correct. Just career as an Eagle, regular season.
All right, got it. And do kickers count?
Kickers are in.
Okay. Those are things I needed to know. Charlie, would you like to go first? No, I won, right? I get to go first.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play last week, so yeah.
All right, so I will take a low-hanging fruit off the board. If kickers are on the list, David Akers has to be one of the top point scorers in Eagles history.
David Akers is number 1 with 1,383 points.
I'll stay with the kickers. Jake's been here long enough. I'll go with Jake Elliott.
Jake Elliott is number 2 with 912.
Long-term Eagles. Give me. I don't think. Brian Westbrook.
Brian Westbrook is number 5 with 410 points.
Like it.
Go with Mike Quick.
Mike Quick is number 8 with 366 points.
Leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns since 2021. I got to go with him. He's got to find a way on this list. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is number 10 with 346 points. I did not think you guys would get that right away. I thought eventually you'd get there, but it was not expecting Jalen this early.
Well, do you know what the crazy part about Philadelphia is? So many people have short careers offensively, so it's very, very tough to find like skill position players that have been here a long time.
I'm going to go a little bit old school again.
No, don't take it.
I'm going to go with Wilbert Montgomery.
Oh.
Wilbert Montgomery is number 9 with 348 points.
As soon as you said that, I'm like thinking to myself, when he goes old school, I'm like, I'm done here. Shit, I think it's really tough after this. Tio wasn't here long enough.
You guys are running through this list here. I am impressed.
I promise you, this is where your speed bump will happen because unless I'm missing something that's rather obvious. Is Jackpot on the list? That's my guess. Jackpot.
Who's Jackpot?
Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, Deshaun Jackson is not on the list.
He was here a long time, caught a lot of 50-yard touchdowns. In my mind, that was a good guess. So screw you.
I didn't know he went by Jackpot.
Oh, bro, that's his nickname, Jackpot.
Bill, it is on you, my friend.
Jalen being number 10 kind of screwed me. I'll go
Jack
Shady.
not being on the list kind of scares me.
I'll go Shady.
Shady McCoy is not on the list.
That would have been my next guess. So I would have got that wrong too.
What year was the first Super Bowl?
1970. So this is 1970 and on.
I think I hit a wall. I hit a wall. Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz is not on the list.
That's funny. That's who I was going to guess last time, but with Hurts being 10, I was like, I think Hurts already passed him.
I hit a wall.
I have one more name, and after that, I'm probably in a lot of trouble. I'll go Harold Carmichael.
Harold Carmichael is number 3 with 474 points.
I could have swore we named him already.
Has not been named.
Okay, well then, what's the score and what?
4-3, I think.
It is 4-3. It is 4-3, and absolutely we can go hence.
I need him.
All right. So this is where it gets a little interesting here. You have 3 kickers.
What?
3 kickers
left.
left.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What?
You have kicker from 84 to 87.
I know that.
Kicker from 89 to 93. And a kicker from 79 to 83. So literally back to back to back kickers.
3 kickers left?
I know one of them. I only know one. I know one. I give you a hint, you'll probably get it, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Give me a hint.
I also have, just because I knew this would be a tough question here, like for the kickers, I also have further down the list here, just in case we get stuck at a certain number here, things like that. We have more that we can go off of here. That's why I've not been telling you guys where people were at on the list. So if we need to ultimately come down to a tiebreaker, we have room here as well.
I know one, so I'm getting to 5.
I mean, I'm trying to remember the kicker in 89 and 93 because I loved Buddy Ball. I don't even think there's any chance I can get his first name. I'm like floundering on the last name. It's like Rushchek. I don't even know if that's right.
How much time is he getting here?
I'm 20 seconds. I'll give you 20 seconds.
Work? Does the last name just work? Do I have to have a first name?
If the last name is fully correct, I will give it to you.
Oh, now we need first names?
I'm going to go Rushchek.
Rushchek is not correct.
You're close, though.
How close am I?
Roger Ruzek.
Ruzek!
Roger single bar, baby.
I remember him from the Buddy Ryan era.
Yep, he's Buddy's kicker.
Roger Ruzek is number 7 with 382 points.
He's far on all the Dallas shit and all that stuff.
Yes, solid round. That's all. What are the other? I have no idea who the other 2 kickers were.
So
Tom
Gallo in the comments. Tony Franklin is correct.
No idea who that is.
Tony Franklin had 412 points. And then the one before Ruzek was Paul McFadden. 390 points.
I don't know who Tony Franklin is. I don't know who. I thought it was like Ryan Rushchek, and it is Roger Ruzek. I was close.
And then you had just to kind of give you some other like notable names here. You had Alex Henry at 11 with 338 points.
Is that a kicker too?
kicker from 2011 to 2013.
It's bad news, dude. Like, they're all kickers.
Shady McCoy was number 12 with 326 points. You have Deshaun Jackson was 21, 252 points. Zach Ertz was at 24 with 232 points. And then you had Jeremy Maclin rounding out the top 25 at 216 points.
So we got Shady Jackson and Zellick, or Ertz, I mean. So we did top 15 pretty well. Just old kickers kind of got me.
The old
solid
kickers.
work.
Funny thing is though, is that there's like people from like the 40s and stuff like that are up in here, and I'm like, damn, the Eagles just really don't keep talent long.
No.
Were me and Gene's boy on that list anywhere?
Who?
Tommy McDonald.
Yeah.
Tommy McDonald was number 9, 402 points.
Solid work. Whoa. All right, let's move forward. Give our picks for this week, NFL, and then we'll get into college football.
I was thinking that maybe Major League. You were so close to getting. You're like Rowenhausen, like root check.
Talking about rookie of the year.
Yeah, rookie of the year. Sorry, I was like
Rowenhauser, Roger Rooser.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was like, shit. I was like, you're gonna keep saying he's gonna get it right.
No. So the funny thing is, I don't know why. I think because I'm Polish, like Walzak and the CZ. I've always like looked at it as like Ruszczyk or like I don't know. I just Ruzek sounds better, but I think his last name when we have like 5 letters. I thought it had 6 or 7, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, so getting into pick'em here. Give the people current standings. Bill just left us hanging as far as picks last week.
I forgot to post them. I was 1 and 2 though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna make something up.
Well, this is not. You didn't post them, so
yeah,
you're 0-0.
So we'll keep you at 0-0 there. Gene, perfect week. Go ahead, decide the order here, and let's roll through.
I'll go last. So go Shally because he doesn't have picks yet. You and then me. We need sound for this. Like whatever, some NFL sound. The problem is this: anytime we add sound to our show. You guys don't know this, and this drives me friggin' nuts. If we had any sound to our show, Facebook flags our post, and I have to write a detailed email on getting it unflagged. And I have to do it with every show because we have music, the intros and outros. It is really friggin' annoying. I just want to be very clear about that.
Giving the people a peek behind the curtain.
100%. The fourth wall.
All right. I'm going to start out in Detroit. I'm going to take the Bears plus 6.5. I think after their collapse on Monday night, I think they tighten up a few things. I don't think Detroit finds a rhythm offensively yet. I think Chicago's defense will be a little bit healthier. I think Caleb will play a little bit better. I like the Bears plus 6.5. Dallas at home against the Giants. Rumor is Russell Wilson's still going to start. I think Dallas played a pretty decent game against the Eagles. At home opener. Dallas minus 5.5. I think they rebound. I don't think the Giants are very good. Last but not least, I'm going Minnesota minus 3.5 at home against Atlanta. They always play well at home. Riding that momentum off the comeback win. I think they take care of business against the Falcons.
I actually love the Giants in that game. I didn't pick them, but I love the Giants plus 5.5. I want to put that on record.
It is crazy because I thought Bill was about to use all 3 of my picks here, but was not the case there. We finally differ on the last one. But first off, I 100% agree. I like the Bears plus 6.5 at the Lions. I do think defense will be better. I think the offense will rebound in that game. And, I think they just ultimately work off of the collapse in the first game of the year. I think that game is really tight. Even if the Lions win, I love the Bears to cover that 6.5 point spread there. Second one, I also have the Cowboys minus 5.5 versus the Giants there. I just don't think they'll have enough offense to compete with the Cowboys in this one. Defense, I think, will do a good job getting after Prescott and company there, but I think Dak and company are going to be good for a few touchdowns in that one, and I just don't see the Giants really matching them there. And then the last game I like the Rams minus 5.5 at the Titans. Defense will be getting after Cam Ward there, and Cam actually looked pretty good in his first game there. And, the scoreboard didn't really show how well, Cam played in that one, but I just don't think he has that much help there. And, ultimately, I think the Rams will do a good job of, pressuring them, making a lot of the Titans uncomfortable there. And then offensively, I do think they're going to have a field day with Puka and Devontae and company scoring a lot of points on that Titans team. So I like the Rams -5.5.
So I have none of the picks, but I want to be on record and tell you guys, I think you guys lose that Cowboys game. I think that you're undervaluing the Giants after week 1. I think that Commanders' defense was way better than people anticipated. And the Cowboys looked much better in that first half because no Jalen Carter. Vic Fangio adjusted in the second half, shut them out. I want to be clear there. I think the Giants cover that game, possibly win. I want that on record. I hate picking over-unders. I think I'm like 1-9 picking over-unders. I am terrible at it, but I'm picking an over-under. I hate picking overs because the over is never hitting until it hits. Like, I hate it. You're losing the whole game until you win. But one just stood out to me, and I just didn't understand how to pick against it. I love the over 48.5 in the Bengals-Jaguars game. Who's going to stop who in that game? I just don't get it. That game could be like 47-45. The Browns put up 500 yards in offense versus the Bengals. The Jaguars have a better offense than the Browns do, and the Bengals offense is not going against the Browns defense this week. They're going against the Jaguars defense that isn't that good. So give me the over 48.5 Bengals versus Jaguars. Here's a game. I love betting against teams on emotional highs, and I love taking a team that I think that needs a win that has that energy. Give me the Jets plus 6.5 at home versus the Buffalo Bills. Love that. I love that. They're staying home. They're coming off a loss. The Bills are coming off an emotional high in the game. Everyone thought they were going to lose. They came back and won the game. Give me the Jets plus 6.5. The last one, I waited until 6:30 until the announcement was made to get the spread where I wanted it at. Are we forgetting that New Orleans Saints stink? This spread was 6.5. Brock Purdy's ruled out. It's down to 2.5. Give me the 49ers minus 2.5 with Mac Jones, mac and cheese. I don't care. Cheese and eggs. Give me Mac Jones and the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, minus 2.5 at New Orleans.
Definitely was a game I looked at there, and I also looked at the over-under in that game. That kind of intrigued me, but it just got a little too low for my liking.
Yeah. Look, I'll say it very clearly. The Saints suck. And like with Robert Saleh's defense and like Mac Jones, he's going to look like Kyle Shanahan's offense. Mac Jones is going to look like the second coming. He's going to get a contract off of this game.
Sam Darnold.
Yep. And Mac Jones, I think the 49ers, I think it's the easiest pick of the week. 49ers minus 2.5. I don't give a shit. No George Kittle, no Brock Purdy. Don't matter. Saints stink. Let's get rolling into some college football. We got some college football. Dude, ranked versus ranked. What is there? 3 of them or 4 of them? Now I said, Trell, all the credit in the world, brother. Now in South Florida. USF, money, Superdog. He's got 790 Superdog points at this point. Great call. Where are we starting, Cottrell?
So, I mean, I think that as far as games go, it might be best to actually start with this one because the ranked v ranked, you have South Florida playing at Miami. You kind of already perfectly segue into it. And that has the highest spread of, all of the ranked versus ranked matchups there. So let's go ahead and start with that one. I would consider that one as the appetizer.
So I think I know where you're going with it. I don't think Lightning can strike 3 times. They win a ranked matchup week 1. They win a ranked matchup week 2. I think Miami's just too much for them. I don't know if Miami covers the spread. It's not something I want to bet one way or the other. But I think Miami wins the football game, and Miami's looked good. They've looked really good. I'll give the U their credit. I think the U ends the South Florida, I guess miracle run to start the year.
I'm not gonna get too far in it because I'm picking it, but I lean a little bit towards kind of what Gene's saying. I don't know if South Florida rolls into Miami and upsets the Canes per se. I think they're also playing with house money at this point, and their team playing kind of with nothing to lose. There's no pressure on South Florida going into the game. I think Miami has looked great, and I think South Florida has learned to just go out and play football, and let things kind of where they lie. They hung around in that Florida game, and then Florida made the mistake, and they capitalized on it. Don't know if you're going to get that from Miami. I think Miami is definitely a better football team than Florida, but I think the way Carson Beck and Miami have looked so far, I think going in there, into Hard Rock and winning, I think would be a bigger upset than going to Florida and beating the Gators.
Well, I will make no bones about it, and I'll give you guys the preview now. I am also picking this game here, and I think that this is going to be another classic kind of football game here. Look, what USF does well is dominate the line of scrimmage, and that is how you beat Carson Beck-led football teams. Like, you make him uncomfortable, you put the pressure on him, and force him to make decisions with the ball. Now, has Miami looked good? Yes, I give them all the credit in the world there, but I do think this USF team is being looked at as a team that is kind of this Cinderella per se, but the reality is we talked about it on Coast to Coast a couple of weeks ago. This is a USF team that was top 20 in terms of their recruiting budget from the prior year in 2024. So this is a team that's went out, they spent the money, they made sure they brought guys in, and they have Byron Brown, who is one of the best kept secrets in terms of quarterbacks in the country there. So I think this is a situation, like Bill said, they're playing with house money. I think this is going to be a really tight game here. I don't know if they will ultimately win the football game. I'm rolling with them to win in a tight one, but I can definitely see this game going either way there. But I thought the spread was a little disrespectful there when I first saw it. I was expecting to be like maybe Miami 8.5, 9.5. Seeing it at 17.5 felt very disrespectful after seeing the performance that USF team has been able to put out there on the field. But with that said, next game here, go to a game where, we've seen play Miami already this year in Notre Dame. We'll go with Texas A&M playing the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in South Bend. Rematch, obviously, from last year. Texas A&M came out on top in Aggie land, but now we are going in South Bend. Who do you guys have in this one?
I'm picking this game, and I don't mind giving it away. Just kind of giving you – last year when they played in Texas A&M, it felt like Texas A&M couldn't move the ball at all, and they still hung around that football game. I think A&M is more athletic than Notre Dame, and I think when you break everything down, Marcel Reed is going to find a way to put points on the board. I think this spread's wild. There's no way I'm laying 6.5 at Notre Dame. I love A&M to cover this game, so I like A&M, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won the football game.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I don't know if they cover. I think that's a different animal. I think 6.5 to Gene's point. I think that's kind of a big number. I know they're home, but Texas A&M is a good football team. That being said, based off that game again in Miami, I thought there was a lot of good things to take away. I think there's some things they need to work on. Jeremiah Love, first and foremost, has to be way more involved in the game plan. I think you'll see that Saturday. I think they're going to try to run the ball more. I think CJ Carr is going to be able to throw the ball though. So. I think that combined with Notre Dame's defense, I think they do enough at home to win. But I do agree with Gene. I think it's a close game. I don't think they cover.
So I think this will be a Close game there as well. Ultimately, for me though, I am rolling with Texas A&M. I'm with Gene on this one. I do think Marcel Reed ultimately will be the difference. It's kind of tough for me to just think that this Notre Dame team is going to be 0-2 after this one because, I do think Marcus Freeman is a good coach. And ultimately, I think this Notre Dame team is one that could potentially make the playoff there. But I just feel like A&M is the better football team. And I think that if Notre Dame isn't going to just absolutely feed Jeremiah Love, which we've never really seen them do, I think every non-Jeremiah Love carry is a win for Texas A&M. So even at home, even with CJ Carr getting his feet wet against Miami, I think Texas A&M will do enough to get it done. They'll get after him. They'll make him uncomfortable, and Marcel Reed won't make the mistake in that one. So I like Texas A&M to win a pretty close game. But then the last game, I'll call this the main event, although it is earlier than both of the previous games that we were talking about there. We are going to talk about Georgia at Tennessee, 3:30 kick. Both of these teams come in at 2-0 here, and I'm curious to hear where you guys are going to go in this one.
I'm going Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins the football game. I am not a believer in Gunnar Stockton, and I think Joey Aguilar is playing great football for UT. He played great versus Syracuse, and when everything is said and done, I truly believe that this is not your normal Georgia team. Georgia's played 2 absolute walkthroughs, and they've looked terrible in both games. They played a 21-point game versus Austin, PA. Are we serious right now? I think Tennessee wins this football game. It's in Neyland Stadium. I love Josh Heupel as a coach. I'm going Vols. I'm going Vols outright. I don't even need the 3.5. They win the football game. They take down the field goal post, and they drive them down through Knoxville.
I'm picking this game as well. I will say I think it's going to be a very competitive game for sure. It's going to be a classic SEC game. Little surprise is a noon kick. Thought this would have been
3:30 kick.
Is a 3:30. Still thought it would have been a night game possibly, being ranked revanked. Very curious to see how Joey Aguilar, handles his first kind of real test with Georgia's defense. And also to Gene's point, I think Georgia kind of sleptwalked through the first couple games. I need to see them flip the switch and play a serious game because I think Georgia is one of those teams where a lot of people are just inserting them into the college football playoff. A lot of people aren't talking about them. Haven't really seen them do anything yet. So I think it's going to be a really interesting football game.
So I am going to actually be on the opposite side of both of you guys here. I am rolling with Georgia in this football game. And look, I understand the non-believer in Gunnar Stockton. I just think the pieces around him are going to rise in this football game here. I think if you get the ball out to Zachariah Branch in open space, he can go out there and make plays. You can get the ball out there to Noah Thomas, and he can make plays. You can talk about Tennessee looking good against a Syracuse team or the following week against ETSU, but I also think that this is going to be his first time going up against, a defense the caliber of Georgia. And I do think they are going to get after him. I think it's going to be a tight game early. It may even be a lower scoring game than a lot of people are expecting there, but I think Georgia takes care of business. I like it probably somewhere around 27-20. I think Georgia ultimately wins by a touchdown in this one, and they avoid the field because I think the field probably gets stormed if Tennessee beats Georgia in this one, although it's only a 3.5-point spread there. So I think they avoid it. I think the fans go home quite sad about what could have been.
Joey Aguilar, 2-year starter at Appalachian State, coming over here to Tennessee. I'm telling you, man, he's legit.
He is. I mean, give him credit. I mean, he's not what they thought they were going to have. And Nico
31 points. And Nico's look like trash, by the way.
Yes. That
Nico's a whole other conversation.
Not working out for Nico.
Nico was well done.
Nico's up for Boner of the Year award already.
Let's get into pick 'em, baby.
All right, gents. So,
by the way, if you guys want more breakdown of, can we not show that? Kidding. If you guys want more breakdown of college football, you have to tune in to Coast to Coast Saturday morning. Those guys give you full in-depth breakdown of all of college football. If you're like Carmike, our guy Carmike in the chat, where he says, I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby. You can learn a lot in college football. He also said Arch is the main event. Not this week. They're playing like Sam Houston State. Doesn't matter. But tune in to Coast Saturday morning. They will break down college football on a much deeper level, and you'll learn a lot more about college football. It's got me better at it. Don't look at the standings because I will rebound.
Say
it looks like I mean Shalley's got the percentage lead, but you got the super dog lead, and you guys have the same amount of wins. So Control, what's the order?
All right, so I'll go first here. Gene, you can go in the middle there, and I'll let Bill finish it off there. But wanted to go first here because you said something just now, and you didn't mean it, but it was some disrespect in there, and I'm gonna get to that here shortly. But first game, I gave you this one already. USF plus 17.5 at Miami. I definitely think they are going to cover that football game there. Like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a close game. I think USF ultimately wins. 17.5 points felt very disrespectful. Second game, I like South Carolina minus 4.5 versus Vanderbilt. Look, Vandy's always the team that is looking for that upset, and they even got it a couple times last year. But those upsets normally happen when they play at home. Lenore Sellers and company have been looked very good so far this year, and they are going to be at home in this one. I think they take care of business against that Vandy team. Last game, I like the over 53.5 Duke at Tulane. These are two programs that have two very prolific quarterbacks, and Darian Mensah and Jake Retzlaff on the other side there. I think you're going to see a ton of points in this one. I see this game easily getting into the 60s, maybe even the 70s in that one. So I love that over 53.5 marker there. And for my super dog, Gene, this is where the disrespect came in. You said Texas was playing Sam Houston State. Well, that's not who they're playing. This week, they are playing the UTEP Miners, and that spread is plus 41.5. Let me remind you guys, UTEP has been my darling all year. They're only 1-1 so far on the year, but their quarterback is Malachi Nelson, who was a 5-star kid that came in the same class as Arch Manning. They were going back and forth of who the number one quarterback in the class was, and I think he's going to take this game personal. While I don't think UTEP has any possible shot of winning this football game, I think Malachi is going to go out there and try and make an absolute name for himself in this one. I think this is the game that he's had circled, and while UTEP probably will lose by 21, 28, somewhere around there, 41.5 is a very large number. I like Malachi Nelson and company to pick me up some super dog points this week.
Okay. I get to go now. I have a really big I have a huge statement I'm about to make. And it's going to knock off Galley's socks.
Uh-oh.
I'll start with this one. I already mentioned it earlier. Give me Texas A&M plus 6.5 over Notre Dame. Marcel Reed, although banged up, will find ways to move the football down the field. I like A&M to cover the 6.5. I wouldn't be shocked if they won the game outright. Next game, Billy Napier stinks. I'm tired of it. I don't like Brian Kelly either, but give me LSU minus 7.5 over Florida. Billy Napier just finds ways to lose big football games. I don't care who's on the team. LSU minus 7.5 over Florida. My third game, give me Georgia Tech and Haynes King to beat an overrated Clemson team, and I'll take them plus 4. Haynes King, Georgia Tech plus 4 over Clemson. For my super dog, Callie, are your ears buckled? Give me the Temple Owls plus 22 over Oklahoma at the link. Evan Simon has been sleeping at the facility. You don't know this. I know this. The Temple Owls have just blown out 2 teams, and they are ready for Oklahoma on the letdown. Oklahoma, huge win over Michigan last week. Do not be surprised if the Owls knock off Oklahoma right. Give me the Owls and Evan Simon, who's been – that's a real story. He has been sleeping at the facility. He is a fifth-year senior. He thinks this is the last football he's ever going to play, and he's been soaking it up. He's been sleeping at the facility. Give me the Owls.
All right. So I shared 2 of my picks with Cottrell. I thought he was going to name all 3 for a second, so it was getting interesting.
Had to get you back.
So I'm going to agree with Cottrell. I think Miami ultimately wins the football game. I think 17.5 is a lot for the way South Florida is playing football right now. I do agree with Cottrell. I think South Florida is going to move the ball. I think they'll be able to stay in the game. Again, I think Miami and Carson Mack and company will pull it out at the end. Might even win by 10, but I think 17.5 is a lot. It's a 3-possession game. I don't know if they're quite better than South Florida by that many at this point. So give me South Florida plus 17.5. Next game, same thing as Cottrell. South Carolina minus 4.5 against Vandy. Again, another number that kind of surprised me right off the get-go. I think at home, I think the way South Carolina's played so far, another team that's kind of just doing their thing, eking underneath the radar, and kind of a sleeper in the SEC right now. At home, I know Vandy, is everybody's love story from last year, but they're not as good this year. I think South Carolina is very good. Give me South Carolina at home minus 4.5. Last but not least, I'm taking Georgia minus 3.5 on the road against Tennessee. Not the biggest Gunner Stockton fan in the world either. Joe Aguilar is going to be a step up for him. And again, I think Georgia's the team that feels like they're being a little disrespected this year. Nobody's really talking about them. I think they'll be ready to go in Tennessee. I don't think there's any field storming this year, so I'll take Georgia Tech minus 3.5. And to come full circle, because we did mention him briefly, Superdog minus 16.5. I'm taking New Mexico plus 16.5 at UCLA. I think there's a chance to win the game outright. UCLA is terrible. Nico has been terrible. There's already all kinds of commotion behind the scenes within the program dealing with Nico already. Rumors that he might not even finish the game this week if he keeps playing the way he did. Starting spot could be up for grabs. It's been a disaster for him to go out there so far. New Mexico, not great, but they're solid. You're not going to run up and down the field on them. Give me New Mexico plus 16.5. Super dope.
Did you see Joey Aguilar's father?
No, what'd he do?
He sent a thank you to Nico for his shady dealings so his son could be playing in Tennessee.
Is that real?
I swear.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
We were kept in the dark. They didn't tell us anything. Obviously, the writing was on the wall. We were finding out everything on social media. But even when the negotiations with Nico, they weren't telling us anything. We really didn't have a lot of information until they called us and told us Nico was coming. That was what UCLA said. But it was awesome. Joey Aguilar's dad made a comment about thanks, Nico, for shady dealings that sent my son 2,500 miles from home. That was funny. All right.
That camp is just in shambles right now.
Love it. I wanted to keep us to have some time for some MLB talk. Playoffs are around the corner. The Phillies all but wrapped up their division. Looks like they're going to wrap it up today. It's not wrapped up, but you win your third game here. I don't know if the Mets 9 back could catch up no matter what.
They'd almost be mathematically eliminated.
It's 4-1, and they have the bases loaded, 1 out. So we'll see. But I wanted to ask a couple questions, and I know we'll talk about some playoff stuff, but the awards in Major League Baseball are just baffling to me. Every advanced metric that I've seen.
Which word are we starting with here?
Every advanced metric that I've seen has Christopher Sanchez and Paul Skeens in a dead heap as far as like their WAR, their wins, like everything that you can break down on a pitcher. Paul Skeens is slightly ahead on like basically the advanced metrics. The odds basically tell you the race is completely over. Christopher Sanchez, another quality start tonight, probably going to get another win tonight. Is he not the most disrespected pitcher in baseball right now?
I mean, going up against Skeens is like going against like Nike. Like it's baseball wants to give it to him. Read an interesting article today.
Yep.
That's why I was curious because they kind of went into depth on a couple of these, and this was one of them. How they think there's a chance the books have it completely wrong, because they think when it's all said and done, and everybody sits down and votes for these and starts looking at all these numbers, that some of these awards are going to be a lot closer than people think. And the NL Cy Young was one of them. I think the kids deserved it. I think it falls into one of those things where they'll think, Skeens should have had it last year. That was his first year. So now he gets it this year. And if Sanchez can duplicate it again down the road, he'll get it. I hate that type of thinking. I hate that crap. I think he's done enough to win the award, and I understand. And I'm obviously not taking anything away from Paul Skeens. I think he's had a great year, but at some point, when, like you said, so many of the metrics are dead heat, then at some point, I think wins have to matter. And I understand Chris Sanchez is on a significantly better baseball team, but that can't be held against him either, which is almost what's starting to happen in some of these pitching awards. I'll leave it at that. I think he's done enough to deserve the award. He's going to at least have one more start. He might only have one more. Again, he should get the win tonight, pitch another great game tonight. I don't know what else you want him to do. I mean, at some point, like I said, I think certain other metrics have to matter. It just can't be strikeouts and ERA and WHIP. Like, there's enough guys that all have numbers that are really close. I mean, a pitcher's job is to go out and win the game. So, I mean, it's at some point that has to factor in for me.
Yeah, their AX ratings, which is ESPN's metric for win probability added, wins above replacements, championship probability added, they're tied. So, I just think it's disrespectful. That's all. 7-9 on a losing franchise that doesn't win baseball games. It's going to win the award over a guy that's 12-4 on a team that's going to be the 1 or 2 seed in the NL.
I agree.
Well, he's 10-9, and he also does have
7-9.
He's 10-9.
Why is
he 10-9 this season? I don't know.
So 7-9.
No, he's 10-9.
Okay.
And I mean 10-9 versus 12-5. Look, I'm not saying that the race isn't close there, but again, you're looking at a lot of advanced metrics there too. I think if sounds crazy to say, I don't think if Sanchez was a pitcher for a non-Phillies team, I don't think you guys would be rooting as hard for him to ultimately get this award here. Because again, I think when you ultimately have to go down to the advanced metrics, like looking at ERA, I know ERA isn't necessarily the end all be all there, but Skeens at a 1.9, Sanchez at a 2.6. I don't think that's necessarily splitting hairs in terms of that. So wins absolutely do need to matter there, but I don't think it should be the case when stat wise they aren't as close as what you guys are basically saying.
Yeah, that was an older article. 13 and Sanchez will be 13-5 after tonight, and low 2.5s after tonight. But I get it. There's definitely a difference between when the article was written and where they're at now. What other awards that we want to go over? I just wanted to bitch about Christopher Sanchez.
Well, I think the one that you would have more gripe about would be the NL MVP.
There's no gripe there. Sorry.
I said I think the one that you should have more gripe about.
I know, but there's no. I think that Schwarber's been incredible, but Shohei's been better and he pitches. So now that he's pitching and he's pitching well, I don't necessarily believe that it's even a competition anymore. So
once he pitched 30 innings,
I was going to say he hasn't pitched like that much.
Let's see. Listen, Shohei's got 48 home runs. He's batting 280, and his wins above replacement are better than Kyle Schwarber's. I love.
I'm not saying Shohei shouldn't be the guy this year. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that Schwarber, a 50 home run club now. I know we talked about this maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and things changed in 3 to 4 weeks there. But we had said that thought it was Schwarber and thought it was Cal Riley as the respective MVPs there. So, granted, Shohei has pitched some since then, and he has pitched well there. But I was just saying, I think that is a race. Just looking at the odds, where Shohei probably is your MVP, but the odds felt a little disrespectful.
The odds are disrespectful. Phillies are not going to win any awards, which is fine. It's going to upset me, but it's fine. Just winning the World Series would be enough for me, though. Judge being over Riley. Cal Riley, by the way, was it you, Shally, that said it? Or was it you, Cottrell? One of you guys said he shouldn't do the home run derby. And since the home run derby, who was it?
It was Bill.
Bill, you awake?
I'm yeah, I mean, he's got 12 starts. He got 38 innings. 3 innings a start. I mean, that's just not
first 2 starts
knocking me over. What?
His first 2 starts he only threw 1 inning. So I get it. It's 3 innings a start, but been better recently. You said around the All-Star break, Cal Riley shouldn't do the home run derby. You were dead right. He's been batting 208 since the home run derby. He does have 53 home runs. He plays a much harder position in catcher. I still would cast my vote to Cal Riley, but I can hear Aaron Judge over Cal Riley. My vote's for Cal Riley still.
My vote stays where it was, which is Cal Riley. Plays a harder position defensively, and he's debatably the best at it in Major League Baseball. Aaron Judge is nowhere near the best center fielder in baseball. Not even close. And again, I most valuable player. This just come down to so different than like the NFL. Like MVP can only be won by like a quarterback now. Like it shouldn't just be about numbers. It's most valuable. Aaron Judge having another good year, that's fine. Depending on how he finishes, this will be if he wins another one, this will be the worst year he's won numbers wise. Cal Riley is the biggest reason that the Seattle Mariners are where they are. If you take him away from that team this year, they are nowhere near the playoffs.
I can't take the Aaron Judge disrespect. I can't.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was a little crazy.
And 48 home runs is the worst year of his MVP?
Of his MVP years? I think every other year he's won one, he's been in the 60s. So what isn't true?
He's batting 321.
I'm talking, okay, how many home runs does he have?
He has 44
right now.
Okay, and I believe the other 2 that he won, he was in the 60s, correct? Or 58, somewhere around there?
58 and 62.
Okay, so what did I say is wrong?
He's batting 80 points higher than Cal Riley.
Okay, Cal Riley has more home runs.
Okay.
And he plays, again, if it's a home run contest or it's a batting average contest, then give it for that. That's not what most valuable player means. If you take Cal Riley out off Seattle and take Aaron Judge away from New York, what's better? Who's the better baseball team?
I think
that's a good question. That's a good question.
It's not even close.
No, see, that's I can't go with that because the Yankees haven't been healthy all year, and Aaron Judge has quite literally been the catalyst. What's been carrying the backs of this New York Yankees team. If you take Big Dumper off of the Mariners, now of course they become a worse team. But to Gene's point, he hasn't batting 208 since the All-Star break, and they're still looking like a team that could potentially win a World Series this year.
That's fine. That's stupid.
I mean, how many guys have won MVP batting 240?
Probably not many.
how many
I mean, those
players?
guys play 50 some home runs though, and are going to be, I think, the third or fourth year in a row winning Gold Glove as the best catcher in baseball.
I mean, Aaron Judge might end up at 50 and still bat 320. So I mean, like,
okay. Then again, it's the same thing. It's plays in a big market, plays on a team that, if we're being honest, is underachieved. Not even going to win their division. And
no player in the history of the award has won the award batting below 250. The lowest batting average as a position player won MVP was Marty Marions. He batted 267 in 1944. Bro, he's batting 240. He can't win the MVP.
And I
still want to vote for him, but
it's the same. And I was going to say, I think that looking at it too, you look at Aaron Judge's WAR. Aaron Judge's WAR is at 7.6. Cal Riley's at 5.7. Like, so I hear you. Like, you take away Cal, you take away Aaron. I'm telling you, literally, like, look at it. Like, Aaron Judge is so valuable to that Yankees. If Aaron Judge was not on this Yankees team, they're nowhere near the playoffs this upcoming year. It's not the case.
And he's so great, and they're not even going to win the division. It's weird.
I mean, Seattle's not going to win their division either.
They weren't supposed to.
Blue Jays look really good. You're not wrong, no.
Underachieving Yankees. Let's throw some more fucking awards at them now.
It's not the Yankee part.
I get the Yankee hate. Like, I get it, but like, I just don't think that,
it's just facts.
Aaron
Again,
Judge doesn't deserve it.
Like, they don't win anything, but all I hear is Judge is irreplaceable. He's this, and he's a great fucking player. I'm not taking away from it. But again, he hasn't won shit.
That's not MVP, though.
It should be. It's most valuable. That's what I'm saying. It can't just be like, you know what? The
most
guy
valuable
hits
player is an
320s
individual
and hits
award, not
That's
a team
not the
award.
definition of the award. It's not. It's value. It's value to your team. You can say there's a bunch of guys, just like last year. You can argue Bobby Witt was way more important to Kansas City and getting them into the playoffs than Aaron Judge was, who's on the team with Juan Soto hitting in front of him. Like, get out of here, dude. Bobby Witt Jr. was a one-man show last year. You take Bobby Witt Jr. off Kansas City, how many wins did they have last year? Probably like 60. But nope, Aaron Judge got Juan Soto in front of him and Chaz and all these other guys behind him providing protection. But he hit a bunch of home runs. They didn't win shit again. Just give him the award.
So the thing is,
it's not
though,
the definition of the award anymore. It's just not. Just like it's not in football.
We quite literally have a statistic, though, that talks about what it would be if the guys weren't there. And you know who number one is right now?
That's against the average center fielder in Major League Baseball. No one's saying he's average. No one's saying that. He's great.
He's number, like, why are we but this is the thing, though. As long as we've had this show, we've never discredited the WAR statistic. But now that Aaron Judge is number one,
I'm saying it's not the end all be all for MVP.
That is what I'm saying. It's not the end all be all. But when you're 2 points higher, that's a significant number.
I've changed my vote. I'm voting for Aaron Judge.
There you go. Vote for Aaron Judge.
I listen. I had to vote for Cal Riley when the show started, but I changed my vote. I'm voting for Aaron Judge.
Good.
I think the 240 thing is the biggest thing that sets me back.
And Aaron's the season's not over yet. Aaron might hit 50 and still be batting 320. Like, I mean,
there's 20 days left. He probably will hit 50.
That's what I'm saying. You hit 50, you bat 320.
Okay. Statistic award. That's all I'm saying. Then just put everybody's statistics down and give them that award. Nothing else factors into it. That is my point.
They have 18 games left, so 6 home runs in 18 games. Sounds like the
doable.
Yeah, I think I'll hit 50. Might hit 3 in one game. You never know. Tigers are shutting him out, though. Flaherty is shutting him out.
There you go. Got an ERA of 5.
Is there any other awards we need to talk about? Charlie's on one right now. I love it. I was on one yesterday. Charlie's on one tonight. That's why we need to have him back.
I'm just stating it is what it is. It is the same thing as the NFL MVP. It's a statistical award now. That's all I'm saying.
AL Cy Young, you guys still giving it to Tyreek Steele?
I mean, I don't know who else you would give it to.
I thought
Crochet has been incredible.
Crochet literally had the award in his back pocket 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
5 weeks ago, he was
dominant
the favorite
from the beginning of the year to the end.
Scooble has been dominant, but you look at the odds like 5 weeks ago. Crochet was
got a
the
little
leader
closer
in the clubhouse as Boston when Boston went on that run and they were looking like they were about to, challenge for the division there. Like Crochet was definitely getting looks at for Cy Young.
Crazy. It's like the value he adds to Detroit would probably maybe be a playoff team without Scooble, but like Crochet's literally held Boston in the race by himself single-handedly. It's like he adds value to the team. That's a weird argument.
But Bill, to your point though, you said Scooble was the guy. So like where are we going here? You said it's Scooble. So does it not matter for pitchers now?
Where does Crochet have better numbers than Scooble?
Strikeouts. It's like home runs, right? Same thing.
No.
I'm talking about replacement. We're talking about their value.
What's their WAR?
Does it not matter for pitchers?
Schoolball's got actually higher WAR right now. 6.3 versus 5.0.
No, there you go. Give me more.
Yeah. I person, just to be clear, Tariq Schoolball is my vote. I'm just trying to give a second person. But there's the main awards. I mean, there's not like we'll get. If you guys want to hear deep, in-depth awards on MLB, just listen to Up and In. Those guys absolutely break down the in-depths of it. Anything else Major League Baseball you want to talk about, Shao?
I know you guys.
Are you off the ledge with the Phillies yet?
What?
You off the ledge with the Phillies yet?
Yeah, I'm not off the ledge. I think that they don't have the pitching staff to win the World Series.
Who do you think does?
I don't know. That's the problem, right? I think the Dodgers still win the World Series. They've been terrible, though.
They might not win their division.
You're right. They've been awful. Dodgers and the Mets have been two of the worst teams in baseball recently.
I mean, the Mets overachieved last year.
Are the Mets cheating?
What?
Sorry, I want to get a fun conversation. Are the Mets cheating?
A lot of talk of it. I mean,
you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Their home and away splits are ridiculous. Yeah. It's right up there. It's yeah. There's a lot of conspiracies out there right now.
Home
and away splits are their home and away splits are like an 80-year like drastic high. Like even worse than like Houston's were the year they got caught.
Never happened before.
So I wanted to ask, just kind of, I guess, going off of that here, talking about the Mets. They're in the wild card spot there. How do you guys see the wild card races ultimately ending up there? Because it's tight, both leagues there. And just curious, is there a team on the outside looking in that you think definitively is going to make it in, or a team that's already kind of in a position where like they're locked in?
Better be real careful that the Texas Rangers might take over the Seattle Mariners for that wild card. They've won 4 straight. They've won 7 out of the last 10. They're basically tied in the win column. They're 2 games back in the loss column. The Texas Rangers have a real legitimate shot of taking over that wild card.
I think the American League is going to be more interesting because I think the Mets are going to back in anyway. I think San Diego and LA are both locks. I think it's going to matter which one wins the division, which one doesn't.
The Cubs are going to do that wild card.
And then I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens in the Central, but yeah, I mean the AL is going to be fun. You got Toronto, Detroit, obviously, Houston, and then you got all hell breaks loose after that. You got Chicago or New York, Boston, Texas, and Seattle. So
Cleveland, God damn it!
What?
Cleveland,
damn it!
Yeah, they won 11 in a row, then they lost like 9 in a row. Like they got down to 3, and then it was back up to 9 in like a week.
They're 2.5 out of wild card.
Yeah,
down 1 right now.
The problem is now you're going. It's the numbers start getting really tight because if you figure there's 10 games left and you're 3 back, and the team ahead of you goes 5-5. You got to go 8-2 just to tie. Like it just gets really like you got to play flawless baseball, and it gets hard. I don't know who
does, but they have a series. I was going to say the end of the year is a series against the Rangers. So,
there you go. I mean, that'll probably solve one of them. I was going to say, I would assume. I don't know who Seattle has. They could have Houston. They could have the Angels. They could have Oakland. And then you get those teams like Detroit, like, they're going to get in the spot where they're going to start resting people. And then you maybe, instead of getting Scooble, they rest them for a start and you get some minor league kid. Like, it's all that stuff factors in the last week. So it always gets fun.
And that's who we have right before the Rangers series. So it'll be very interesting. They got a 9-game lead right now, or I think 8-game lead right now for the division there. So it'll be very interesting. I don't think the Guardians are a good team by any stretch of the means. Like, I don't expect them to make noise in the playoffs, but I mean, I think they are in a favorable spot, just how their schedule falls there at the end.
All right, let's get into You Got to Be Kidding Me, gentlemen.
All right, so this week I am going to the world of college football, and I am going with one Haley Sawyer. If you don't know who she is a voter for the AP poll. Now, why is she my You Gotta Be Kidding Me, you may ask? So this past week, she actually had Florida move up from her number 16 ranking the prior week up to number 14 after a loss, and still had USF unranked following that game. She also had Baylor as a ranked team and had Auburn unranked. Why is that important? Because Baylor and Auburn have already played each other this season, and Auburn beat them head to head. Then she was asked about it later on in the podcast. She doubled down and said, in the end, it doesn't matter because it all evens out because of the significant amount of voters for the AP poll. Haley, look, I get it. You're not able to watch all the college football games out there. You're probably covering teams and doing a whole bunch of stuff. I get it. But there are so many people across the country that would kill to have a vote for the AP poll that would at least pay attention to the top teams in the sport. And then to double down on it and just say, oh, it doesn't really matter. Like, I can really just throw whatever I want out there because there's so many voters that will ultimately make up for it, and we'll get it right in the end there is really just awful. So this week for me, Haley Sawyer for not having a clue what she's doing with her AP poll vote.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm going to go with a funny one. This is the first time I've ever seen it. Minor league baseball game last week. An umpire threw out a bat boy, excuse me.
I've seen this.
For putting baseballs in his mask too aggressively after he'd already gotten in a fight with a coach. I don't know what we're doing, man. I just don't. These umpires, I think people show up to games to watch them, and these egos they have are crazy. So he made a bunch of really bad calls already in the game. Head coach had just been ejected. Guy up to bat hits a foul ball. He's out of balls. Lets the bat boy know he needs balls. At bat finishes. Kid comes out. And as always, they put balls in both hands. Puts some of the balls in his one hand. Umpires always open up their mask. They put the other balls in there. Kid slammed him down with a little bit of attitude. I'm not going to say that he didn't. But the umpire then throws him out of the game and says, "What the F," under his breath. It is getting ridiculously out of control. And I know this is a lighthearted one, but at the same time, it's so ridiculous. I can't remember anybody ever getting thrown out for something as petty as that. So for this week, again, just harping on umpiring in baseball, it's horrible.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I have a video for mine. It's always fun when I'm prepared. Sunday Night Football.
And over by the fence, fan hits.
Start over.
And over by the fence, fan hits him up on the head and then hits Lamar Jackson. And after that, fan it wasn't celebrating at all. And over by the fence, fan hit.
So Lamar Jackson apparently had to apologize for this. If you can watch in that video clearly, the fan is not celebrating with DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar Jackson. He actually pushes Lamar Jackson's head. And Lamar pushes him back. And Lamar Jackson is like putting this, he's fined by the NFL. He had to apologize to the person that he did it to. No. The gloves are off when you put your hands on a football player. This Bills fan was banned from every stadium indefinitely from the NFL. Great. I'm happy. If you go to a football game and you're sitting in the front row and players are by you and you put your hands on them unprovoked, I think they should put you in a ring with that player and let that player have 60 seconds with you. That should be the punishment. Give him 60 seconds with Nuke or 60 seconds with Lamar, because I promise you he won't be putting his hands on them that way. That was stupid. There was no need for it. And the fact that Lamar Jackson has to be the one to apologize for pushing the fan back, that's not, zero chance. You put your hands on me, I'm putting my hands on your back. So for that, this week, the moron fan from the Buffalo Bills that put his hands on DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar Jackson.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I can't believe that he had to apologize for that.
It's that much. I mean, it's not the no fun league for no reason.
I was gonna say, I'm sure the question got asked there, and they probably Ravens PR was like, "Hey, just go in, say some apologies, like just in case, we don't want this to be bigger than what it needs to be." Although everybody knows you're in the right. Like, again, NFL is, you kind of see it here. If you watch the games this past Sunday, like some of the ridiculous taunting calls that they've been calling to try and clean up the game per se, it is starting to get ridiculous there. So I'm not even surprised that Lamar felt like he had to go out and apologize to appease the NFL.
I get it. I'm glad they didn't suspend Jalen Carter. I do want your opinion on this before we wrap up, and just be really quick. I said this morning on the morning show. I'll say it again. The Philadelphia Eagles need to sit him. The shitty part is this. As a fan, I don't think the Eagles win the game versus the Kansas City Chiefs if Jalen Carter doesn't play. And you let down the 51 other guys on the team. But as a guy that believes in the culture, what are you telling your team if you don't punish him? And if that punishment is the first quarter or the first half, or at very minimum, the first drive, I think you're telling your team that we don't think we can win this football game without Jalen Carter, and that sets a bad precedent. The Philadelphia Eagles have done a very poor job over the years of behavioral correctional problems of their own team. What Jalen Carter did was stupid. It was very dumb. He let a moron like Dak Prescott get in his head, and he shouldn't have been there to begin with. This is not the first time Jalen Carter has had issues. It's actually the third time. Clint Hurt, the Eagles defensive line coach, had to stop Jalen Carter from attacking Nick Sirianni last year. And in the Saints game, there was a massive issue where offensive lineman from the Saints made mention of Jalen Carter's dead friend from the Georgia, and he could not control himself. He's also been fined multiple times for punching people, putting people in headlocks. He's been in the league for 2.5 years. He fell to 9 for a reason. If you cannot control him, this is going to be a terrible marriage in Philadelphia long term. Do not lose the culture of your team. You should do something about this.
Could turn into Sue.
Yeah, you're right. Great player. As an Eagles fan, I definitely want to see him out there on the field Sunday. Like, we didn't even talk about Eagles Chiefs. Now, I want to be very clear. We're going to smack the Chiefs around Sunday. I no doubt in my mind that Philadelphia Eagles team is going to go down there and bully them. But you got to set precedent. Chad, I didn't get your thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I think you said everything that needed to be said. This is a kid that still needs some growing up to do. He has an impulse control problem. This is not the first time. It's not the second time. It's, you listed the laundry list of things that have happened. Kid is an amazing football player. But to your point, that team, especially now for a while, has really been built around culture. And you can't let one person, endanger all that. Now, that being said, I don't know if there was stuff done behind the scenes. And that's something they'll probably keep in-house. I think the fact that he missed the whole game, and the NFL even came out and said so, like they just counted that as a suspension.
They did.
I think if you're going to sit him, it has to at least be for a half. Because anything other than that, like you said, the first drive, that's almost making light of it at that point. Like, oh, you suspended him for, it could be a 3 and out. So it's like, oh, you suspended him for 3 plays. Like, so if you're going to make a significant move like that, I think it at least has to be a half. But again, I will say this. I think Sirianni, for the most part, has been really consistent with a lot of this stuff. I would like to know what they did behind the scenes with him. I'm sure he ran extra this week. I'm sure he did all that stuff. And again, I think they'll keep all that in-house. I want him to play. But to your point, if they announce Sunday morning, hey, Jalen Carter's not going to play the first half, I'm completely okay with that too.
That's just, and listen, once again, I would love nothing more than to watch the best defensive player on the Eagles play every down and dominate the game. And I want that, right?
Yeah.
But you can't set the wrong precedent in culture. That's just my own 2 cents. And I just feel like that he let his team down Sunday. And credit to Vic Fangio. And by the way, all the Cowboys fans are talking about CeeDee Lamb. Well, CeeDee catches those balls, the Cowboys win. Well, guess what, doofus? If Quinion Mitchell catches the ball that Dak threw right to him, CeeDee doesn't drop the other 2 because the game's over.
It's over.
So let's not talk about what if, okay?
And if Jalen Carter plays, you guys don't run the ball up the middle of the game either.
Correct.
And the one what if that I'm very curious about is what if they don't get the call wrong on the field and ultimately Miles Sanders doesn't carry the ball following and then fumble the ball and Dallas ultimately kicks the field goal there. Like that's the one what if, because I was like, that's really just one of those spots like ball don't lie. Like that's really all I was.
What did Reed Blankenship do there?
Nothing. He literally ran into him. Didn't headhunt, didn't do anything. He was falling, did absolutely nothing wrong. And then the very next play is the fumble. Like that's quite literally ball don't lie. Like I said in the group message.
I just don't know what they want these guys to do anymore. Like honest to God, dude. Like I just if I was an OC, I'd be like everybody just run crossing routes. We're gonna throw the ball over the middle. If somebody touches you, it's gonna be a penalty. Like you're going full speed. The guy's falling to the ground. He still doesn't hit him in the head. Doesn't lead with the head or the shoulder. Like what do you want him to do?
That is one of those.
Like, are we just supposed to be like, oh, you're in the end zone, I'm supposed to let you catch it because you made it in here? Congratulations, you ran faster and got into this rectangle before me. You get to catch the ball for free. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
That is one of those penalties, Shally, that I wish that they had quick replay review, like they do, like when they miss something on the field. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, because it looks bad and.
When guys are running 20 miles an hour, to your point, I get it. It looks awful. Like again, you have amazing athletes running full speed and running into each other. Yeah, it looks bad. It looks bad. Give them the opportunity, like you said, to slow it down and be like, okay, like that didn't really happen. Like, but again, they have that in the NCAA and they still screw that up. So
to me, and if you watch that Eagles Cowboys game, and maybe I watched it with green goggles, there was 3 really bad calls against the Philadelphia Eagles in that game. The Nolan Smith taunting was a joke. The fact that Steele didn't get called with the left hook across Jalen Hunt's head
Dude, he threw it from his waist. Like nobody saw it.
And then the Reed Blankenship call. Those three were awful. So I remember looking at it like, oh, Cowboys get screwed by the officials. I'm like, what game were you watching? But I didn't claim that the refs killed us in that game, but in the same respect that I can point at things just like they're like, well, if CeeDee Lamb doesn't drop those balls, the Eagles lose the game. Well, if the Queen had balls, she'd be the king. All right. That's it. Any final comments, gentlemen?
Nothing from me this week.
I got a final comment. You're looking to upgrade to the iPhone 17. I'm your guy. Pre-orders start Friday, 8 a.m.
I will say no bias aside. Even before we did this show, and even before me and Jamie became close, Gene has been my cell phone guy for probably damn near a decade at this point. Yeah, I will tell you this too. If you know me, I do not refer people to people unless I firmly believe in them and their service. I have referred numerous friends, family members to Gene. Gene will go out of his way to take care of you. He will bend over backwards to take care of you. This is not an infomercial for Gene, but he's very good at what he does. He values all his customers. If you need an iPhone, call Gene.
Thank you. That's all we got today. Appreciate you guys tuning in to Wire2Wire Sports Podcast and Gene's infomercial. I'm the NFL Genius, Gene Walsack. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Cottrell, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shawcross. We are signing out.